your general thoughts about the game, but also just the way you guys defended all over the field today.
Yeah. It was, our game plan. We know Houston is a very talented team with the ball. Benny's done a great job with them, and they're always dangerous and with combination play, and then attacking with numbers by the time they get in the opponent's box. And so it's a calculated attack. It's dangerous. But we've also learned in the past, if we think of a couple of years ago, playoff game here, when we are aggressive and we don't let them get into a rhythm and we don't give them a lot of space, especially in the middle of the park, it seems to be enough to defend well enough to win games against them. And it's easier here than in Houston. There's usually a hurricane or a 100-degree heat or something going on with our luck there. But I was very happy with our defensive performance tonight. We wanted to be aggressive. We wanted to be on our front foot and to cause problems. And I think we did a great job with that. And on top of it, we created some chances with the ball. Some out of transition, some out of run of play. So I was happy with the improved performance. We started playing better with the ball and creating more chances in Portland. Made some defensive errors. St. Louis was more of the same. A little better than in Portland defensively, but still made 2 critical errors, which caused goals. And then we could have scored a few more. And then tonight I saw a more complete performance on both sides of the ball and was very happy with the way we played tonight. From the get-go, it didn't feel for me tonight that at no point were we in danger of losing this game.
Coach, congratulations on the win. With Aaron Long clearly hurting his shoulder, Maxime Chanot's status up in the air, what it's been with De La Valle and everybody else, can you just give a kind of general sense of what's going on at center back with this club and how everyone's health is moving forward?
I wish I had a better answer for you than, sometimes it's just a little bit of bad luck. Sometimes it's recruiting. You have to be careful who you recruit. Injuries are sometimes with contact, and with Aaron's it's contact. It's not wear and tear. And so nobody in this sport is protected from contact injuries. And that's just a little bit of bad luck.
Coach, congratulations on the win. I have a question that doesn't relate directly to the game, but I want to make sure I get it in before I don't have a chance. When I interviewed you about 20 years ago, you said something really interesting to me. I asked you a really boring question, but you had a really good answer. The question being, you were playing at Hanover at the time, and the question was, what are the biggest differences between your life in the U.S. and life here in Germany, which is where we both were at the time. And you said, I still remember you said the U.S. is a hero culture, and in Germany, they're skeptical of success, and they kind of tend to want to tear you down a little bit. So I wonder, now that you've lived and worked here for a few years, is that still? Would you still say that still holds true? And how is that playing out in your work as a head coach?
I think the truth. Yeah, I still think there's some truth to that, which I think is a good thing. I think it's a much better experience to open up the paper in the morning. Who still does that? I'm not sure, but. And to open the sports section and you read about the victories and you read about the stars and the heroes of the match, game, what have you, as opposed to the negative headlines. So I will always see it with the glasses half full as opposed to half empty. But I think now with our sport in the United States, I would say it's not that extreme. I think there's both. I think it's a nice mix, a healthy mix of criticism, constructive criticism, both from the fans and from journalists, but also understanding some teams are doing their jobs very well. And so I think we found a good mix right now.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for not making me remember what I said. There's no chance I would have remembered that.
You don't even remember the interview.
I do, but there's been a lot of interviews.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, I'm not blaming you.
Thankfully.
Can you talk about that first goal in the season that Ordaz is having right now? Please?
Yeah, it's He's where an iron. If you want to score goals in any league, you need to poach. You need to be in those areas. You need to be in the box, and you need to be running to goal. You need to be the first in the box. And he's exactly where he should have been. He ran hard and was rewarded for it. Was in the right spot, just kind of sniffing around the goal, and thankfully the keeper wasn't able to get his hands completely on it, and Nate was in the right spot. So I loved everything about that. I love the progression, starting with Eddie Seguro, who found Timmy Tillman in midfield. While Houston was pressing, an excellent pass. And then from there, it looks easy, but it's not, to maintain the tempo of that rolling counterattack, if you will, and then to finish it. And so I loved everything about it. It's something you kind of do in training, but it rarely works in games, and tonight it did.
Thanks.
Steve, on Aaron, can you share any more details? I mean, what does he look like right now?
As far as I know, nothing serious. I think it was just painful in the shoulder area. So I think we were able to cancel out any serious injury at halftime, which is why he went out and played. But sometimes the pain is too much. So we'll see how it settles the next couple of days. But I'm hopeful that it's nothing too serious.
You made a point coming into this match how important tempo was and pushing Houston. Is that part of the reason you started Nathan and David together? You wanted some of that more energy in the attack?
Yes, that's precisely it.
Yeah. And they offered that for you? What did you see from them?
Tonight they did, yeah. Until fatigue set in. But they ran hard the first half. They ran hard the first 15 minutes of the second half and just got tired. But having that ability of at least two out of the front three, and Denis ran as well, but so all three and midfield as well, running hard, making it difficult for teams to settle down and have meaningful possession is really important for us to get into games. And the faster we play, the better we play. And we need to not lose sight of that.
And one more from me, just on center backs, can you speak a little bit about the depth you have? We haven't seen too much of Nkosi Tafari this year. Where do you make of him fitting into the group? Do you see him over this course of this month, perhaps with Aaron, as someone who get more time?
Yeah, right now our Aaron and Eddie did very well tonight. Marlon came in and did excellent as well. So, and Kosi has been showing in training what he can do. And sometimes it's just a waiting game. Sometimes the players just have to be a little patient. But we do have a congested stretch coming up. And, we will see some rotations then.
First off, just the performance of the team tonight, the defensive performance of the team, and then, the speed with which you guys played, which certainly led to your goal, which cemented the victory.
Yeah, I think it was a complete performance all around. We knew that we dropped a couple games at home, and anytime you're doing that in this league, you're setting yourself up to have to make up points on the road, and we know it's challenging to win on the road here, even if that's what we expect. So we wanted to take care of business at home, turn this back into the fortress that we know it can be, and that was a complete performance from minute 1 to 95 plus.
And in terms of the speed of play that you guys played with tonight, your ability to do so with as much precision.
Yeah, I think it's just the focus. We talked about putting together 90-minute performances, and maybe we would have wanted to score a few more of those chances. We had several shots on goal in the first half and some good clear opportunities as well. So maybe that's an opportunity to give us a little bit more space early on in the game. But I thought the focus was really, really sharp from the warm up, from practice this week, and it really carried into the game. The guys that came onto the field. So when we're focused like that for 90+ minutes, we're gonna score goals. We're gonna concede not too many opportunities, and we're going to get 3 points more often.
Jeremy, what was it about Houston's setup that allowed LAFC to just continue? It almost seemed like, you guys were playing downhill for the match, 10 shots on target, almost 20 overall for the game. What was it about their play style that led to it to really help LAFC on the attack all day?
Yeah, I think it's less about Houston and more about us. I think we were confident going into this week. We knew what we wanted to do. We knew that we wanted to play with a fast tempo, be connected with each other. We talked a lot about the extra pass this past week and trying to find our guys open. And I think that we found some good opportunities where guys were open in front of goal, some good goals. We're going to want to score a few more of those chances, as I said, but it was less about what Houston presented and more about the focus from the guys that were on the field and the sharpness.
Jeremy, would you say that Denis' pass to you is an example of what you guys had talked about in training, sort of that final pass or looking for an extra pass?
Yeah, I think so, and I think it's also Denis understanding, who he's playing with and kind of what the player that he's looking at prefers. So he knows I'm left-footed. Obviously, he knows that I can deal with any ball, whether it's in space or leading me onto my right foot. But him knowing that I'm left-footed gives me a lot of options to go at the guy 1v1 if I want to, play him back if I want to, or try and dribble the guy to the right. So yeah, we're talking about that extra pass there, and if we're really looking at it, maybe there's another pass in there too that I can maybe give back to Denis. But we know as well that strikers and our wingers, we have attacking instincts, and we know that if we're taking shots, it's because we believe that it's the best opportunity, and then we get to reflect in film throughout the week and see if there were other options there.
And pre-match, you talked about wanting to be able to be there to contribute, wanting to be healthy for your teammates, and then when you have that moment, to make the most of it for yourself and your teammates. Would you say that the minutes you played tonight sort of fits into that bucket? You feel like you accomplished everything you would have wanted to accomplish as you get back on the field?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we didn't concede with any of the subs that came on, and we scored another goal. So I think that's exactly what any coach or teammate's going to want out of subs that come onto the field. We want to build off of that, and so that we know that there's a tough stretch of games coming, and hopefully some important games too. And so we want everyone firing with full confidence so that whoever's on the field can get the job done.
This team has had some inconsistent form the first part of the year. Do you feel like things are starting to fall into place to where you can be more consistent, more precise through the games? And how much is being in a situation where it's now one game a week, how much is that helping that?
I think the one game a week allows us to have a full week of training and really focus on ourselves and then focus on the team that we're about to play. So no doubt that gives us a little bit better rhythm going into the weekend. But ultimately, we can't get too high or too low based on some of the previous form and tonight's win. We just need to keep chugging along one step at a time. Today was an important 3 points, but we have a big test coming against Vancouver. And so if we go in there, thinking that we're the best team ever just because we won at home, then we're going to be in for a rude awakening. So we have a lot of respect for the opponents coming up in the next few weeks, but we also believe that as LAFC we can go and get 3 points whether at home or on the road.
Anything else for Jeremy?
For the lefties, how did you feel the moment the ball made contact with your foot? What was going through your mind the moment you just kicked it?
It felt smooth. I had an idea where the goal was, obviously, but sometimes the goalies can make good saves, and that was definitely a concern, but it felt very smooth coming off, and so glad to see it hit the back of the net. That's what strikers need, a little bit of confidence.
Can you take us through that goal? It's you got kind of a fortunate bounce and was able to put it away. Can you just talk about what you saw, where it was coming from, and all that?
Yeah, I think we have a fast counter-attacking team, and so I think once we had that rotation going, you kind of always know where it's going to end up. And so Sergio put in the cross. I get yelled at every day in practice to make it to that first post, so that's what I did. And thank God the goalie did what he did. I'm very happy with it.
Nathan, again, congratulations on the goal. With playing the number 9 here at LAFC, when you have a guy like Olivier Giroud or a proven goal scorer like Jeremy Ebobisse behind you, what type of focus and motivation do you have to go through, like every single week, every single practice, to make sure that you're the first number 9 up each week on Steve's list?
It's just about playing my game. I think everybody brings different things to the table, and I think if I play my game, I think I'm very effective, and I just kind of have to worry about myself and not really see it as a competition. Just do the best that I could do, and whatever the coach decides, I'll respect it and be ready to help if I'm off the bench.
Nate, we spoke a couple weeks ago, and you mentioned sort of the flow state. Are you still feel like you're in that flow state? How's that?
Yeah, I feel really good. It's a little bit different whenever there's one game a week. It's a lot easier once we're just back to back to back to back. But I feel good. I feel ready, and whatever they ask of me, I'm ready to do.
And how much would you say your confidence has grown over the course of this season? Last year was not a strong point for you, and you came in, you made a concerted effort to come in to this year improved and more physical, and it seems like it's paying off. Where's your confidence come from there to where you are today?
Yeah, just trusting God, the process, and my hard work at the end of the day. You know, I think if you work hard and you're patient, it's gonna come to you. You know, and I think that's showing. And yeah, thank God.
Anything else from Nate? Gustavo?
We at MeToo, we love cheese, man. And if you were to go to your phone and text your secret group chat, who would be in that chat about your goal? If you were to text them about your goal, who would be in that chat?
On the team or just in what?
How would you describe your goal in that group chat, and who would they be?
Yeah, I think a couple of my childhood best friends are definitely laughing at the goal, you know, in a way, because it wasn't the hardest thing to do, but you know, I'll take it all the same.
And would you say that goal, how would you describe that goal? Oh my gatos or ya tú sabes?
Ya tú sabes.
Anything else for Nate?
Yeah, what does Yatu Savas mean?
You already know. Yeah.
When you line up with Denis and David, I mean, Steve expected up-tempo from you guys tonight, and that's what you delivered, but is that the mentality coming onto the field? Like, we know we have to play at a high pace? Or do you think you guys just naturally do it? You're younger players, you're full of energy, that comes naturally to you?
Yeah, I think that's part of my play style, so I think, you know, no matter what, that's what, you know, it's what it's going to be, probably a higher pace, and, you know, obviously if they make it known that that's what we're trying to do during the week, then I have to just double down on it. You know, I think, yeah, we pushed the pace really well, and I don't think they really had much to offer back.